afternoon, wherever you are watching from in the world, and welcome to Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. And welcome to round 5 of the 2023 Finetwork JuniorGP Championship, coming to you live about 30 minutes outside the city. 4.7 kilometers in length, 14 turns in total. This circuit is one of the classic tracks on the annual motorsports calendar. A mixture of hard-braking fast corners, the longest straight on the JuniorGP calendar, make for the perfect racing destination. Today, it is the stars of the future who take to the Halo Tarmac, which is just outside the wonderful city of Barcelona. The sun is shining and it is a hot one out there. I am Chris Jordan, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Tristan Finocchiaro as we get set for another round of European Talent Cup racing, and it is under the Spanish sun as we take a little tour through the paddock. Tristan, it is all set to be a cracker, and the drama has already started in the ETC. Only 1 point separates, I should say, the top two in the championship, but there's a lot of grid positions between them here today. We'll come to that in just a moment.
Incredibly excited for this one, Chris. If Portimao has anything to go by and all the past rounds are anything to go by, there'll be plenty of action here.
Yeah, it has delivered in every round so far, and we expect it to deliver once again as we take in some of the sights around. So, last time out at the Portimao roller coaster, it was just the one race. Max Quiles started on pole and took the whole shot into turn one ahead of Jesus Rios early on, but in typical ETC fashion, it was constant chopping and changing with Quiles, Rios, Pau Alsina, Salmela, Guido Pini and Dodo Baggio among the front runners. Quiles and Alsina getting a bit up close and personal, but the number 28 was putting in an excellent performance to control it out front. Salmela had a go then, but Quiles had a response, and then it was Casey O'Gorman who tried to lead for a little while, but Quiles once again led out front. But unfortunately for the Aspar Junior team rider, despite leading out front, he crashed on the last lap, which handed the opportunity to Dodo Baggio to end a run of four straight fourth places. Casey O'Gorman came second, and he came from P30 on the grid, with Guido Pini completing the podium. So that's how it all played out just a couple of weeks ago in the south of Portugal, and I swear if we have anything like the drama we had on display that day, then you will be on the edge of your seat throughout this race. 31 degrees in the air, 38 degrees on track. It is a hot one, 6 miles per hour, the wind, very little crosswinds, which should make for some excellent racing here around what it really is one of the best circuits on the motorsports calendar. So many twists, turns, great overtaking opportunities. I'm very much looking forward to this one as we look at the paddock and the multitude of international riders we have.
Yeah, always throws up something special, does the European Talent Cup. These are the stars of the future. This is the first stepping stone in their road to MotoGP as they start, and the first stepping stone within this paddock.
And we look at Brian Uriarte here. He will start from P1, but he did not qualify with the fastest time of the qualifying session. As you can see there, 3 wins so far this season. He also missed out in the Algarve. We'll talk more a little bit on Uriarte just in a bit, but just a quick review of what happened in qualifying. Uriarte topped his group in ETC group in qualifying, but he wasn't as fast as Max Quiles, who claimed pole position, but incurred the wrath of the stewards, and the championship leader, Max Quiles, will launch from the back of the grid. The number 28 will have a big task on his hands, because he's only 1 point ahead, Brian Uriarte, and Uriarte has had a bit of a master plan in recent weeks. He's had an injury, picked up an injury in a mini GP biking training accident, had to pull out of the Algarve round where there was only one race, saying he'd rather come back and be fit for this one. In that race, Quiles crashed on the last lap, which was absolute despair for him. But he's come back still 1 point behind, and now he starts on pole while his main title rival starts at the back of the grid. young Finnish rider here, Rico Salmela. He's got podium quality, as you can see, 2 P2 so far. Very unlucky to miss out on the podium as well in the Algarve. Just taken on the line by Guido Pini, despite having led going through the final corner. So joining these guys on the front row, the number 1. He wears the number 1 because he is the reigning champion. That's Guido Pini. He's currently 4th in the championship with 90 points. But he's got 4 podiums to his name so far in 2023. They came in Valencia, Jerez, both were P2s, and Jerez and the Algarve were P3 finishes. Front row packed with quality.
Quality all through the field here in the European Talent Cup, as the fans have camped out here to watch this incredible action, the stars of the future.
Jesus Rios then, the number 54, starts 4th. No wins, no podiums, no poles as of yet. He's got 29 points, 6th in his best grid position, I should say, prior to this is P4. He's coming at Portimao last time out. 6th, 5th and 8th are his best results. A lot of DNFs and non-point scoring positions so far. But he has taken some steps this year. It's been a year of development for Rios, and he was right at the front in those races last time out. Now, another rider we're going to see line up beside Rios momentarily. He's flying the Irish tricolour. So naturally, I'll be egging him on. We're meant to be impartial, but it's hard not to be. When there's so little Irish riders, you have to pick a favourite when he has a tricolour. 15 years of age, that's Casey O'Gorman. What a ride he had in the Algarve. He started 30th on the grid and came home 2nd. Even led for a little bit, as we saw in the highlights in the review. Super performance while he debuted with his new team, Super Hugo Racing 44.
Incredible natural talent from Casey O'Gorman. Like you say, putting an incredible ride back in Portimao, and has always, all the way through his career, been at the front, been at the sharp end of everything he's raced in, and has been incredibly impressive. I mean, he caught the attention of Shaky Byrne, who helped him out a couple of years back, and has just every place he's been, he's impressed.
Yeah, a big talent. We managed to actually catch up with him yesterday as well, and he's starting 5th on the grid today. We caught up with him just before qualifying, and he didn't seem to have a lot of hope about qualifying. He's like, oh, I never quite do so well in qualifying. Well, he's answered himself. He's 2nd row, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do here. But he also pinpointed Rico Salmela as probably the rider to watch, along with Max Quiles, but as having the best pace all weekend, as we look at Pau Alsina here, who will complete the 2nd row. But so Rico Salmela and Max Quiles, Casey said, are the good riders, and a couple of riders have also said they are the ones with the best pace. But Casey O'Gorman, once he gets racing, he is a demon on that bike.
Yeah, he's once the red lights go out, he goes into absolute, like you say, demon mode. Carter Thompson then lines up 7th place on the grid, the number 5th on the number 50 machine. He's had a bit of an unlucky run this season, only picking up points in one race back at Estoril.
Yeah, it's been another year of development for Thompson. Just the 2 points registered back in Estoril, as you said. P7 is best qualifying to date. He ended up having to actually retire from that race, so hopes for better fortunes today as he launches from 7th. Then beside him, Guillaume Plonk. He had a decent start last time out, but it was only because it was a jump start he ended up having to go through the long lap penalty. But he looks a decent talent. Came 8th last time, 9th last time in Jerez, 10th in race 1 in Jerez. What are the odds he comes 7th? Continues that sequence of form.
Yeah, Guillaume Plonk looking to pick up personal best here if he can, in a decent position on the grid. Best result so far was P9 back at Jerez. That's in 2023. His best result ever in the European Talent Cup came last year, was P6, and was actually at this very circuit in Catalonia. So he'll be looking to try and repeat that again this year, or even go better. Rush Moodley then lines up 9th place on the grid, South African.
Yeah, very talented rider. We've seen him make some big steps throughout 2023. 2 5th place finishes in Estoril and Algarve. Quite enjoys a Portuguese race, as you can see. Hasn't had the best of time at the Spanish circuits. A couple non-point scoring in DNFs in Jerez and Valencia, so he'll be hoping for some better fortunes. He's promoted onto the 3rd row due to penalties, so let's see what he can do. He'll be one to watch from deeper on the grid. As we have a little look at fans probably putting some analysis on what's happening out on track, giving their predictions. Jesus Torres then 10th on the grid, 8th. Oh, I lost my voice there. 8th in the championship with 40 points. Let's see a couple top 10 finishes. 7th in Estoril, by far and away his best. He'll be looking to build on that and add to his points tally here in Catalonia.
Yep, Torres eyeing up a personal best if he can. Like I say, currently best is 8th. He's in a decent place to be able to do it. And there's going to be, as ever, a freight train in this race. Expect there to be passing at every single corner. Like we said, this is one of the very first stepping stones in the riders' careers. So many fast riders have come through here, have come through this category and gone on to do incredible things. Last year's champion also stepping up to the plate this year with that #1 on the bike. And he's still in the mix as well, Guido Pini, and will be lining up towards the front of the pack. So keep an eye out for the #1. Equally, Joel Esteban rode very, very well last year. Could have won the championship. Missed a couple of races due to injury, but he stepped up to JuniorGP this year, and he's really, really impressing. So it just shows the quality of the field here in ETC.
Yeah, we'll have no spoilers to what happened in the JuniorGP race earlier, in case you want to go back and watch it. But in previous rounds, we have seen him step up, take podiums, and a victory as well last time out in the Algarve. So it just goes to show this really is the breeding ground. This is a rider now we really, really expect to move up next year. Brian Uriarte, he has been blockbuster entertainment value. Valencia race 2, sensational couple of moves on the last lap to take a frankly ridiculous win. Well, in Estoril, I believe it was only 2,000ths of a second, just like Tony Elias and Rossi in 2006, that he took the win.
Did you steal that stat from our colleague Liam Hodgins, or is that one of your own?
Off the top of my head.
Okay, sure.
How dare you doubt me?
It just sounded like a Liam stat.
It's my one good stat. So this is your grid. It's Uriarte, Salmela and Guido Pini on the front row. Rios, O'Gorman, Powell Sina complete row 2. Cara Thompson, Guillaume Plonk and Rush Mudley making for an international looking third row.
Rounding out row 4 then, Torres leads Zani and Barroza. Morelli fronts row 5 ahead of Brinton and Roman. Serpa heads row 6 ahead of Hakim Danish and Pantaclearis.
Then it's Pugliese, Al Sahuti and Bertola in row 7. On Van Triek, Valentino Ehrlich and Fernandez in row 8. The back of the grid then, it's Daniel, your championship leader, Max Quiles and Dodo Baggio, who won last time out in race 2. So then we see Quiles and Baggio at the back of the grid. Can you tell us why, Tristan?
Yeah, so a few of these riders have incurred the wrath of the stewards once again. It's natural in low capacity racing that a lot of these riders are out looking for slipstreams, and a lot of them were caught riding slowly in a few too many sectors, and the stewards deemed it to be unsafe. So Max Martinez will start from the back of the grid, as well as Max Quiles also starting from that back of the grid. Dodo Baggio was another one that incurred the wrath of the stewards and will have to start from the back as well. Keanu Vaya, another one of the names in there. There was so many names that were caught doing it, and with this kilometre-long straight, a lot of these riders looking for that slipstream, but going about it the wrong way.
Yeah, the stewards have been very strict with it this year. We've seen penalties handed out in every round. 31 degrees, 38 degrees, track temperature, 31 air. But yeah, the stewards have been strict. They're really trying to stamp out riding slowly on the racing line, and we've seen it, and it's probably worth stamping out. But slipstream is so crucial on these machines, Tristan, as you know very well, that it could be coming around the straight like this. It could be nearly upwards of a second in a qualifying lap time. So you can see why riders want to do it, but there's a way to do it.
Yeah, it could very well, like you say, could it even be up to a second, especially on these low-powered bikes. These little pre-Moto 3 machines don't have a lot of power, so if you get that hole in the air punched in front of you, it's worth a lot of time. But like you say, there's a correct way to do it, and unfortunately, sometimes it's just luck of the draw.
So then, no championship can be won today, but as you can see, Quiles 1 point ahead of Brian Uriarte. They have been neck and neck all season, and great value on track. Keep an eye on the number 28 of Max Quiles. He is riding from the very, well, not quite the very back of the grid. We still have the last chance riders who qualified onto it. But the number 28 of the Aspire Junior team is launching from 26th alongside his teammate Dodo Baggio. So both Aspire Junior team riders are at the back of the grid, just ahead of the last chance riders who qualified for this race this morning. So the number 28 and 47 expect a charge from the back of the pack for both these riders. Both have race winning pedigree. Dodo Baggio won last time out, but we're back at the front as the red flag is held up. Eyes on Brian Uriarte. Will he have the whole shot going into turn one? Red flag is there, the green safety cars pull up behind. We're just waiting now for one or two more riders to get into their grid position. I think that's Jesus Rios who's riding up a little bit slowly, or is it just maybe Guillaume Plunk just behind him? But the red flag's gone. Red lights are about to go out. Revs are rising. Brian Uriarte's on pole and he gets a super start, as does Guido Pini. Rico Salmela is a bit slow off the line. Number 54 there, Jesus Rios, slots into fourth place with a brilliant start as well. We look at Rush Mudley a little further back. Is he going to try and move up the inside? Not quite. Salmela, long run into the line here, so it could be anyone. It's Salmela recovers from that not optimal start, but it's Brian Uriarte then on the switchback. Will he take the lead? No, it is Salmela. So it's Team Estrella Galicia 0-0-1-2 out front. This time it's Salmela who leads
really
Uriarte. I didn't quite see what happened to Pini, but he's after dropping back. Jesus Rios, Casey O'Gorman, and the number 26 of Pau Alsina all scrapping it out for that final provisional podium place. But the perfect start for the Team Estrella Galicia, as the two of their riders get away perfectly, and it's number 54, Jesus Rios, who slots into third position.
Keep an eye on the yellow bike, the number 67, that's Casey O'Gorman, the Irishman, Irish family, born in London, British Talent Cup champion a couple of years ago, and a very, very hot talent here in the European Talent Cup. It's Salmela, though, that leads from Brian Uriarte, Rios, and the number 67, Casey O'Gorman.
We already have a
crash already.
Who is that? We have a look. It's Roman, the number 38, I believe. Well, that's hugely Matteo Roman. Yeah, that's hugely disappointing for him. He's just day is over and round is over after just.
Oh, that's a big crash in the background there.
I'm not quite sure who that is, but oh, hopefully he's okay. That looks a big, big one. The number 69 of Bujosa is gone down, a massive high side. Thank God he's up on his feet and running back. It looks like he might even want to rejoin. But back out front, it is Salmela and Uriarte, and they're building a gap here already to Jesus Rios and Casey O'Gorman. And Uriarte is in the slipstreams, pulled out a little bit. Is he going to try and move coming into turn one?
Right,
keep an eye on the number 51. It's such a long run to the line on these machines. Maybe he pulled out of the slipstream slightly too early. What do I know? He's taken P1 for now. Takes into the lead. Salmela slots in second. And it's 54 still, Jesus Rios holding on to third position. Just behind them, Guido Pini has recovered from going wide a little bit earlier and is in fourth, with Casey O'Gorman, I think, just about to try and move to reclaim fourth position back up the inside of the reigning champion. Well, what a huge shame this is for Bujosa. We've already lost a couple of riders.
Let's have a look back
big
at
crash.
that.
What happened to? Oh!
Just a big high side there. Unfortunately, it can happen on the first lap. Was a little bit wide, was a little bit offline. Running a strange line through. Let's have a little better look at it. So he's trying to go up the inside of another rider there. Tries to get on the, yep, just too much gas.
Whips around and sends him flying into the gravel. Thankfully, enough skill on track for the other riders to take evasive action, and he looks to be pretty much unharmed from what was a big crash, so hopefully we will see him back at the next round. There is quite the summer break to come, of course, so plenty of time to recover if he is a little bit shaken. And Jesus Rios now having a little look up the inside of Salmela, and will Salmela get the cut back? No, brilliant stuff there from Rios, and Uriarte's out of the seat, and Rios all of a sudden now is in the lead. Uriarte has dropped the P3 and Salmela is hot on the heels of the MRE talent rider. Brilliant stuff from Jesus Rios. Uriarte, not sure what happened to you there, but taking that left-hander, you just seem to have got it wrong, and we're out of the seat, and it's cost you 2 positions, and he has had to slot back into third position.
Rios yet to finish on the podium in European Talent Cup. Could this be his first podium? Still 12 laps remaining of this race. And it is yet to be seen. I'm sure the positions will continue to change. Pini's got made his way up ahead of Casey O'Gorman, and now Max Quiles is right on the back of this group already.
Sound the Jaws music, people. Max Quiles has wasted no time across the opening couple of laps. He is sitting in 9th.
Fastest lap of the race as well.
It looks like we may have lost another rider. I'm staring at my timing screen just to look for Dodo Baggio. I don't quite see him there yet.
14th.
He is in 14th position. So both Aspar Junior team riders have wasted little to no time in getting towards the front of this race. At the moment, though, it's Rush Mudley who's taking the lead. Rios once again up the inside. Uriarte taking the outside line. Looks like Guido Pini's trying to follow him through. Gets a little bit pushed wide by Salmela. Salmela in 4th. Guido Pini slots in behind the number 24 then, and Guillaume Blanc. Excellent race from the young French rider. He is in 6th place.
Yep, Blanc looking menacing then. But look at Rush Mudley out the front. He's made his way out the front of this race, but how long will it stay for? These riders constantly swapping and changing positions as the race goes on, but now Quiles is right in this battle, and it won't be long until he makes his way to the front of the race. He's got Casey O'Gorman to contend with first, and then Guido Pini making moves now as well on Blanc. Mudley then it is that leads from Rios, Brian Uriarte, Rico Salmela and Guido Pini, your reigning champion, currently rounding out that top 5, but he's coming under pressure now from Blanc and Casey O'Gorman. The action will continue all race long. Don't expect the order to stay like this.
No, but we're beginning to see a lead group form, a lead group of 13 riders as the track limits comes the way of Casey O'Gorman, I believe. We might see that shortly. So Casey needs to be just a little bit careful when running on some of these corners. He doesn't want to hit the green again. Max Quiles on the very left there, but who is that?
Uriarte.
What a move that is up the inside. Uriarte.
Sorry, I think that was... No, yeah, it was Uriarte.
Uriarte, yeah. What a move that came, cuts across to take the lead. Jesus Rios bumped back into 2nd, but Max Quiles, what a ride this is from your championship leader. Uriarte must have been looking at this as a huge chance to put an advantage over Quiles and take the championship lead. Just a point separates them in the championship, in that title race. Jesus Rios and Uriarte going toe-to-toe here. But here comes Quiles for 2nd place. 2nd place, he's taken 1st place off Uriarte. That's going to be a shock to the system for Uriarte. What are you doing here so quickly, he'll be thinking. Max Quiles has come from the back of the grid, and 3 laps in, he is leading this race.
Well, he's already made it to the front. What can he do now? He's at the front. Very, very difficult to pull away in this European Talent Cup category, and even more difficult here in Catalonia with that kilometre-long front straight. But he's doing an incredible job on the number 28 machine. Casey O'Gorman's looking menacing now, up into 3rd place. Salmela just defending that position as well from Pini. Oh, but he doesn't quite. Pini sits him up. Now, what can Casey O'Gorman do about these front 2? I'm sure the order will change as they come along the front straight one more time through the final corner. And let's see, sorry, the penultimate corner, now through the final corner, jumping the gun a little bit there. Now, let's see how these bikes fare along this front straight. We know that that gas machine, that Aspar machine, sorry, is very, very strong along this front straight, but nothing can outweigh the forces of the slipstream.
10 laps to go then here in Barcelona in this European Talent Cup race. Max Quiles led over the line on the last one. He leads into turn 1, but Casey O'Gorman is making shapes. Brian Uriarte, championship rival, P2 to Max Quiles, just 1 point behind him in the title race. Hangs it on the outside of O'Gorman, but he won't want to see Quiles getting the win here. I expect a battle for the ages between these two. Casey O'Gorman having a cracking ride here, as is Jesus Rios, just hanging on the back of this lead trio in 4th place. Rico Salmela also in this group, as is Guido Pini, Rush Mudley, and a couple of other riders a bit further back. But it is championship action at the front with Casey O'Gorman getting the elbows out between the championship's top 2.
Quiles then doing an incredible job out the front of this one. Casey O'Gorman's all over his rear wheel, but the Monlau rider, Brian Uriarte, is also looking menacing this race. This is just going to keep carrying on like this for the rest of the race. We can tell
we can't see it's settling into a rhythm anytime soon. So it's Quiles who is out front. I have to say, Quiles last time out, I know he crashed out in race 2. Uriarte fires it up the inside of Casey O'Gorman there. Brilliant move from the young Spaniard and 3-time race winner in 2023. but touching back on Max Keeles. He loves leading at the front. You saw in the highlights earlier on, in the Algarve, he led from the front. Salmela, O'Gorman, multiple, Jesus Rios, Pau Alsina, all had goals at leading and taking over as Uriarte.
The final, he's done a Valentino Rossi.
He's done it up the inside, but Keeles, I guarantee you will have an answer for this. He loves being out front, but Casey O'Gorman has brilliant drive out there as Jesus Rios gets back into this triple slipstream, shall we say, and they're going to be 5 abreast coming into turn 1. So he's done the Valentino Rossi, as you said, but Keeles, look where Keeles is now. He's been swallowed up by this lead group. That is the damage. Oh, Rush Mudley, I think,
shortcut,
has had an absolute howler there, and he will have to give up a lot of time and a lot of places to avoid a long lap penalty. Double long lap penalties just coming up for number 13 and number 18. That's Hakim Danish has had to do one, and the number 18 of Bertola. They both have to go through the long lap penalty loop. I think that was Rush Mudley who went wide. It looks like he's given up enough time there. The number 21 has dropped back into the second lead pack here.
Whoa, Uriarte!
Whoa,
he's gone off, he made contact there, and now he's off in the gravel. Will he be able to keep it on 2 wheels? He's going to lose a lot of time, and he can't quite.
Here. He's going to give it everything to get back in here, but that is his hopes of victory well and truly gone. Now he may try and get some points, but he has dropped back all the way back. He'll be hopeful to get back on circuit. He's definitely got the pace to recover some positions, and he's already back on circuit. He's currently running in 27th place, 16 seconds behind the leader as of the last check. So that is absolute disaster. We'll get a replay of that shortly. Uriarte, well, he started on pole to twists and turns in this championship race. He started on pole after Keeles was dropped to the back of the pack, but now Keeles is in this lead group, having taken 3 laps to get out front. He's in the middle of this lead group here. That Jesus Rios now leads, Rico Salmela in second, and Casey O'Gorman in 3rd place. It will not stay like this. Is that Guillaume Plonk just ahead of Guido Pini, and then it's Max Keeles.
We went into this race thinking it was advantage Uriarte in this race, but it's not now. Now it's Keeles is in this front group, and Uriarte's dropped way off with that incident. Look at this down into turn 1, though. No idea where to look. Boggio's now in the mix as well. He's come from the back of the grid as well, and he's now slotting himself up into, I think,
Keeles is
3rd.
Stood up there.
The Aspar guys move on, but there's plenty of action happening on circuit as Moodley now in the lead.
Toto Baggio, where have you come from? I just noticed him coming through there. He was back in 14th the last time we checked. He's wasted no time at all. He is in this lead group. We saw the Aspar team there looking a little bit worse for wear and a little bit nervous. That's because Max Keeles got bunted out and stood up twice coming through the corners there a couple corners ago. He's still riding in this race. He'll have seen Uriarte go off track as well. So now, is it a matter of pushing for a podium or taking your points as they come? Keeles knows all too well, of course. He crashed out from the lead in the last lap, so he knows the dangers of pushing too much.
We might as well scrap qualifying, because it clearly makes no difference in this European Talent Cup race. They're all starting from the back of the grid. Let's just order them by race number.
Potentially. Well, we're looking at the back now. What can Brian Uriarte do? He's still at the back, 18 seconds from this lead group. He's got a mammoth task on his hand if he is to pick up any points here. He's running 18 seconds, sorry, not off the lead group, but off the riders ahead of him. So a mammoth task to get back into this. Now, Rush Mudley has recovered from his mistake. He's running out front ahead of Casey O'Gorman. Toto Baggio has taken 2nd place from O'Gorman, so it's all chopping and changing here. Guillaume Plonk, keep an eye out for him. He is mixing it here with some of the big guns, and he's putting on a hell of a performance, the young French rider. Could he be on for a podium here in the European Talent Cup?
Right then, there's a snake down the front straight. Don't like seeing that one. A little bit dangerous from these guys, but it does happen. They're trying to break the slipstream, but ideally they need to not do that. Oh, Pini up the inside. Beautiful move down into turn 1 as the order continues to change here in the European Talent Cup. Now Rios out the front looking for that first podium in the European Talent Cup. Can he make it happen this time around? Casey O'Gorman having a little look as well. Here's Uriarte. He's way off the back of these guys now. Yeah,
it's a lonely ride for Brian Uriarte. I've got him clocked at 17, 18 seconds behind the guys ahead of him, which is Ivan Serban, Van 3. So the riders ahead of him. Brian Uriarte has a mammoth task. He's going to hope some bad luck falls upon the riders ahead, and it has!
Who's this?
Oh, is that Rush Mudley who's gone down? We've lost
That's
3
the number
riders
50,
from the lead group.
Carter Thompson.
Okay. Oh, panics. Pau Alsina, Zani. Rush Mudley's teammate Zani has gone down. They were part of that lead group. Pau Alsina and Carter Thompson. We'll catch a replay of what happened there. For a moment, it looked like we may have lost some of the biggest names within the lead group here. But that's happened at turn 5. The yellow flags are out as that's a big move up the side, inside there of Dodo Baggio from Jesus Torres. Guido Pini, though, is out front. Jesus Rios still sticking it out here. Guido Pini, though, sticks a move up the inside. Will Rios get the move back on the right-hander here? Not quite having the angle, potentially through one of the final corners, but we know how optimistic that move must be. So he'll settle in with the slipstream coming up. Disaster here then for Pau Alsina, Carter Thompson. You can see, oh, and Zani was just taken out, absolutely helpless. A collision behind him between Thompson and Alsina, I think, has just taken out the riders there. That's a huge shame. Zani absolutely helpless in that situation. So up front, Zani's teammate Rush Mudley jumps into the lead, but not for long. Guido Pini cuts it back, and Casey O'Gorman's hanging it on the outside of Mudley, the South African. It's Ireland v South Africa here. And the Irishman looks to have gotten the win in this short battle. Brilliant stuff. And up the inside there of Jesus Torres, I'm not quite sure, is it Guillaume Plonk? It absolutely is. Dodo Baggio there too. It's all chopping and changing. It's all elbows out racing here. Max Quiles has dropped to the back of the front runners here. I think he's just taken a little break out from all this battling happening out front and just waiting for his moment to strike a little later in the race.
Right then, Pini on the number 1, the reigning champion. It is that leads. He's got Casey O'Gorman, the former British Talent Cup champion, right on his rear wheel. Absolute incredible depth of field here in European Talent Cup, considering how young these guys are. The experience that they've had and the level that they run at is incredibly impressive, and they're looking to slingshot themselves onto the world stage, as it looks as if Rios is going to do 2 for 1 down into turn 10. O'Gorman slots into P2, but he loses it. Rios goes wide as well.
Brilliant, and O'Gorman forces Rios right. Brilliant from Pini.
Well, it was more the other 2 went wide.
But just to take advantage of that, Dodo Baggio then capitalizes on the mistake as well to move into second ahead of Jesus Torres. Excellent riding here from some of these riders. Any mistake is going to be pounced upon.
Baggio now then, right in the slipstream of his fellow Italian. It's Pini from Baggio. Now the number 22 of Torres looking menacing as well as he goes down the outside on the front straight. 4, 5, 6, maybe abreast.
Get the fingers out, Tristan. We need to keep count here. And up the inside is Jesus Torres. Guillaume Plonk is in now in second place. Jesus Rios out front. It is all chopping and changing. It is anyone's race. Any of these front riders is within a shout of winning here. Rico Salmela is at the back of the group. Dodo Baggio is at the back of this group. They're both riders with podium potential and race winning pedigree. But wow, this could go any way at all here.
Absolutely incredible scenes. Mad racing as always in the European Talent Cup. Salmela's looking menacing in the background. He's going to look. Ooh, Quiles with a really nice move there. He's putting himself back into victory contention. Just keeping an eye on the names who are consistently within that top 3. Obviously, Casey O'Gorman, Quiles as well. Rios more or less there or thereabouts. PD always pretty much there. Those are the riders you can expect to probably take it as it comes at the end and probably be in that top 3. Those riders that have managed to keep themselves up there for the race distance tend to be the ones that pick up the points at the end. Pini now trying to put himself back into that top 3. Rios, number 22 there, Torres, making a nice move at the inside of Casey O'Gorman. Casey, not one shy of a battle.
No, not at all. Absolutely sensational rider on track and great value to watch him do his stuff. So he's sitting in 4th, just behind Jesus Torres at the minute, with Jesus Rios in top spot. Max Quiles, is he going to have a little look up the inside there? Not quite. I think Quiles, well, knowing where Brian Uriarte is, he's already picked up 1 or 2 positions. Uriarte has virtue of the crashers ahead of him, but still has a long way to go ahead of the riders who are in front of him. So Rush Mudley's on the far right, the number 27 then are Salmela and Dodo Baggio on the far left, but it's Rush Mudley then who will take the lead into turn 1. Guido Pini right behind him. Jesus Torres is putting in a sensational ride here. He's on for a podium, which will be a superb result for the Spaniard. And then Rico Salmela, he's been at the back of this group over the last few laps, but just beginning to make some moves. Casey O'Gorman has been bunted back down to 5th position. All these riders in this lead of 9 have sat or occupied the lead or the top 2, top 3 spots over the last couple of laps. So with 4 to go, expect us all to change again as Jesus Rios, who's been at the front of this battle for the majority, is back in 7th, running in 8th place, having a little look. And for some reason we see Rush Mudley put the hand out. Follow me, boys. Why would they follow you, Rush? You're in the lead. They want to get ahead of you. But it's Guido Pini then who is going to make a little move, or eye up a move on the inside of the South African here. Jesus Torres slotted in behind the reigning champion. But it's Mudley who leads, coming around and about to clock off another lap. Just over 3 to go.
Mudley yet to taste the champagne in the European Talent Cup. His current best result is 5th place this year. 4th last year he managed to grab, but still yet to stand on that rostrum. He's got Pini right on his tracks now. And Torres really coming strong in this race as well. On the number 22 machine, Rico Salmela now is coming to the fore. We heard going into this race that he was one of the riders with superior pace. It doesn't really matter in the race though when you've got all these riders completely locked together. We'll see them change positions as we go down the front straight once again. Will Pini take the lead down into turn 1? He takes the outside line. But okay, look at Casey.
Wide angle there. Is that going to pay off? Well, he's going to earn a couple of positions. He's gone up into 4th position. Brilliant stuff from Casey O'Gorman. He'll slot up into 4th. But it's going to be Jesus Rios, is it? No, it's Max Quiles who's leading coming into turn 3. Rios slots in behind the 2021 champion. And Jesus Torres is fighting for his life out there. He is clinging on to P3. This would be a superb result. We've seen some riders here with pedigree, some other riders who have been part of the lead groups in previous rounds, but just haven't made that step onto the podium yet. Could this be the end of their wait to taste the box after
Quiles, look at that.
Pushes him right, and Jesus Torres opens the door for Jesus Torres. Brilliant opportunism from the Spaniard, but Quiles, brilliant move to push himself temporarily into the lead and now into 2nd place.
Torres didn't need a second invitation on that number 22 machine, riding for the Cunha de Campeones squad. The squad that's done a lot to help out youth and young riders of all different nationalities, but now it's coming to crunch time and the usual names are pushing towards the front as Quiles now takes the lead. Rios desperate for his first podium, so is Rush Mudley, but he's been pushed down the pack as well. Baggio now trying to put himself in the mix as well. And we're going to come on to the penultimate lap. 2 corners left of this lap, and then it'll be 2 laps remaining in the European Talent Cup. How they're going to fare as they head onto the front straight. We've seen in the past that when Quiles gets onto the front straight on that Aspar machine, he can maintain the lead. Will he do it this time around? Rios right in his slipstream. You're going to think down into turn 1 there's going to be some moves made, but he goes real defensive. Baggio goes towards the outside. There's bikes everywhere. Look at Casey.
Up a little bit here. Brilliant from Jesus Rios, and Jesus Torres took an inside line there. And both these guys are on for a first ever ETC podium. Guido Pini is slotted in 3rd, but not for long. Casey O'Gorman is on your case. He is just behind this lead too. So, was a little moment there for Jesus Torres. I think he was out of the seat with just under 2 laps to go. It is all very tight here. Guillaume Planck hangs it on the outside of Guido Pini. Max Quiles just in behind, waiting for his moment to strike. But it is Jesus Rios out front. Not anymore. It's Casey O'Gorman. Guillaume Planck now is into 2nd place. It's all chopping and changing. Jesus Torres is down to 3rd, with Guillaume Planck in 2nd. And Jesus Rios, has moved to 4th. It has, in the blink of an eye, all changed in the top 4. Max Quiles just hanging behind here in 5th place, waiting for his moment to strike. Guillaume Planck, does he fancy a move up the inside here? Not quite yet. It is Casey O'Gorman leading out front. Was had a little bit of contact between some riders there. The nervous looks from the Aspar team. But they're both two riders from the back of the grid are still very much in contention as Dodo Baggio cuts up the inside of Guido Pini to get into 5th place. That pushes Max Keeler's right and he's dropped back. But now it's Casey O'Gorman who leads Guillaume Plonk, Jesus Torres on for a first ever podium, but he's got so many contenders within a blanket's throw of him.
Right, comes into the final corner for the penultimate time. It's Casey O'Gorman that will lead them across the line as they start the final lap of this European Talent Cup race. Although Guillaume Plonk coming alongside the number 67. And what will we see down into turn 1 now? It is last lap time. It is crunch time here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Max Quiles has made his way to the front down into turn 1. Baggio's now in the mix into P4. Pini into P3. And Rios now slotting himself into P2, desperate for that first podium.
Yeah, there's a bunch of riders here chasing a first victory and the first ever podium, but it's Max Quiles who is in control at the moment. Guido Pini fires it up the inside of Jesus Rios, but Rios responds as Dodo Baggio tries to hang it outside, on the outside. So, drive out of here is going to be crucial. Can anyone find the inside on the left-hander? Guido Pini has a little look up the inside of Rios, and Rios is hanging it outside. Brilliantly defended from Rios. And look, for all the world, Pini was going to take that. But this is all just playing into the hands of Max Quiles. He's had another look, and Rios has been so good at defending that, but he can't do it this time. Aspar team here looking on nervously, but don't be so nervous, boys. Your boy is in the lead, Max Quiles. This could be a huge, huge win for him. This will put him 26 points ahead of Brian Uriarte, who is still at the back of this pack. He's in P19. He won't pick up any points. He's taken out Quiles and Jesus Torres. He's taken out his teammate. Absolute disaster in the Aspar team. Oh, I was just saying, don't be so nervous. Dodo Baggio has cut up the inside and wiped out Max Quiles. And that puts Guido Pini in front with Casey O'Gorman just in behind. And I think it's Rush Mudley. It is Rush Mudley. Oh, massive collision. And that has probably decided the face of this race. Guido Pini is going to win it. Rush Mudley is going to try and get the driving line, but Casey O'Gorman holds on for second. Rush Mudley in third. Jesus Torres comes fourth. Morelli in fifth. Oh, that was a huge, huge, huge incident. Oh, wow, the ramifications for the title race.
You could just see how hot he was coming in.
Dodo Baggio tries to move up the inside. Delight, obviously, for Guido Pini, but despair at Aspar. Oh, Dodo Baggio has dived up the inside and wiped out a couple of riders. Rico Salmela, part of them. Max Quiles, a teammate, part of it as well. Absolutely devastating for the Aspar team. Guido Pini is celebrating, the AC Racing team rider. He's got his teammate there alongside him, Pugliese, and getting congratulations all around. What a well-deserved win. He's been always fighting at the front this year. Oh, how do you like your drama, Tristan?
Last lap drama, but ideally with overtakes and not with crashes. Casey O'Gorman happy with that one. Yeah, unfortunately, Baggio just came into that way too hot. You could see him coming from a mile away back. You could see it coming as he was on the brakes, and yeah, unfortunately, it ended in the gravel trap for those three. Yeah,
the turn 10 incident involving those riders is under investigation. And
not much investigating to do, really, is there? Just went into the hot.
We'll see what happens post-race, but it's all about Guido Pini at the moment. His first win of the campaign and second in the ETC. The reigning champion is up and running on the winner's board. Super performance from the Italian. Casey O'Gorman too. Excellent, excellent, excellent ride. Well, Rush Mudley debuts on the podium too. He's come so close in the past. But today he finally gets himself onto the box. We saw Jesus Rios going by him there, just looking through the timing screen. It's an absolute disaster for Jesus Rios. He got caught up in that incident, came home 15th. He was on for a first podium. Oh, that incident has had huge ramifications for the title race, and well, it will very much be looked at by the stewards. So Christian Daniel there, the number 97 2 of Morelli. He took huge advantage from that incident as Guido Pini, Morelli finished in 5th as we watch Guido Pini come into pit lane to what will surely be some jubilant scenes in Parc Ferme. His team most certainly waiting there, probably sprinted all the way up pit lane to greet their young superstar in the making. Guido Pini, the reigning ETC champion, European Talent Cup champion, gets his first win of the season. And as we can see there, it has very much been well received by his team. Let's have a little listen in to some of these celebrations. A massive win then for Guido Pini, and that very much brings him back into championship contention. He was 34 points off the front last pre-race, but given that Max Quiles, Brian Uriarte and Dodo Baggio all failed to pick up points, he has now pushed himself within reach of those three riders. He's overtaken Baggio, and he is now just 9 points behind Max Quiles out front. Casey O'Gorman too, superb ride from the young Irishman. Consecutive P2s. It's great to see the Irish tricolour doing so well in the world of motorcycle sports. While Rush Mudley, what a big smile he's got on his face. The South African takes a first podium in the class. So we're going to hear from our race winner, Guido Pini, momentarily. He'll just have to get out of the celebrations. Our intrepid reporter, Tristan Finocchiaro, is nearly ready to talk to him, but Guido Pini still dissecting the race with his team. And this is how it all happened. Dodo Baggio fired it up the inside, collided. Oh, disaster, collided with his teammate and championship leader, Max Quiles. Rico Salmela caught up in us as well. That wiped out three riders. And Guido Pini, and we can see Jesus Rios in the background going wide. Guido Pini took the advantage and the initiative from there. Yeah, Jesus Rios picked up a point in the end despite going through the gravel trap, but it was Guido Pini. He nearly had a little moment coming there. He was out of the seat, the excitement getting the better of him. In a drag to the line between Casey O'Gorman and Rush Mudley. It was Casey O'Gorman, the Irish rider from Super Hugo 44 team, to take his second P2 of the season. Rush Mudley will debuts on the top three. So then we have our race winner, Guido Pini, down with Tristan Finocchiaro. Let's get his thoughts.
Guido Pini, an incredible victory. You were in the mix all race long and a very, very hectic last lap. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite race in my life because it was really hot. I tried to push hard all the race, but the group was really big. In the last lap, I tried to pass Maximo after a crash, but I'm so happy for this win. I have to say thanks to all my team, all my sponsor, all my Nico Ferreira coach. Thank you so much.
E ora in italiano?
È stata una gara veramente bellissima, incredibile, faceva veramente caldo. Il gruppo era veramente grande, però dai, ce l'abbiamo fatta, per il campionato è perfetto. È una vittoria incredibile. Devo ringraziare tutta la mia famiglia, la squadra e tutte le persone che mi sostengono. Grazie.
Bravo.
Grazie.
Bravo indeed, and this is how it all happened. So, we had Brian Uriarte starting on pole position. Poor start from Rico Salmela, saw him drop a little bit. Guido Pini was right in the thick of the action, as was Jesus Rios, but Salmela recovered from a slow start to take the whole shot going into turn one. It was a Team Australia Galicia 0012 as we lost the first of our riders out back. That was the French rider Roman, the number 69. Max Quiles started at the back of the grid, but wasted no time in getting himself to the front. He led for a while, but was stuck in a major battle with a big lead group. Brian Uriarte then was part of that lead group, and disaster struck for him. His race-winning ambitions was over after this fall, an incident in the gravel trap. Out front, Jesus Rios was having a fantastic ride and very much in the thick of the action. Led for large part. Guido Pini and Casey Gorman just behind him. Then another big crash. Wiped out a couple of riders. Carter Thompson, in there, Zani as well. Max Quiles then decided to take control out front, dived it up on the left. Jesus Rios slotted back into second, and Quiles, 1 point ahead of the championship prior to this race, saw a huge advantage before him. But it was Jesus Rios who was fighting back then for the win. Casey O'Gorman flying through here as well. And he led for a short period. Guillaume Blanc, part of that group too. He had an excellent ride until it all came to a head shortly after. Max Quiles back in front, Dodo Baggio there just behind Guido Pini as they're switching it through turns 1 and 2. Max Quiles though loves to lead from the front, looked very much on for the win until this happened. Dodo Baggio, his Aspar Junior team teammate, comes in and wipes him out. Enrico Salmela was part of that as well. Absolute disaster, despair in the Aspar Junior team box, but over an AC Racing team it was pure joy. Guido Pini took full advantage to take his first win of the season. Rush Mudley came third after just missing out to Casey O'Gorman on the line. And what a race. We'll be back next time for Aragon for what will be another cracker in the European Talent Cup. So a very international looking podium. 2 tricolours of Ireland and Italy side by side, joined by the South African flag. So the team representative coming out from AC, he will receive his reward alongside the race winner. Rush Mudley then out on the podium for the very first time in the ETC.
También muy buen resultado, segunda posición, Casey O'Gorman.
Casey O'Gorman back on the second step of the podium. Consecutive races now where he has been on the podium in P2. Superb run from the Irishman. But it's all about this man coming out now. Young rider Guido Pini secures his first win of the campaign and really enters the championship picture as the reigning champion.
Lluís Santamaria, director general del circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, l'encarregat de felicitar l'equip AC Racing.
So the Director General, Josep Luis Santamaria, Director General of the circuit, hands out the team manager prize for following it up with a memorable prize for Rush Mudley, a moment he'll never forget.
Tenim ara Monsieur Jean-Marc Disney, vicepresident de la FIM Europa, entrega el premi.
Casey O'Gorman picks up another trophy for his troubles here, and another P2 in what will be a huge boost of confidence for the young Irish rider. And out comes Joel Kelso, Moto3 World Championship rider, to hand the winning trophy to Guido Pini. And now the Italian national anthem.
L'himne d'Itàlia. Sí, ahí está la alegría que corra. Autoridades que se...
A wonderful rendition of the Italian national anthem, one of the best anthems out there, in my humble opinion.
Agreed.
Not biased at all, Mr. Finocchiaro.
No, not at all. Brilliant then, brilliant to see Pini returning to victory after his championship win last year.
Yeah, superb. Very much back in the running now for the championship. That puts him 9 points, I think, off the top of my head, 9 points off Quiles in the championship picture, as we hear some more belting songs coming out here at Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona.
I quite like this music played on the podium.
DJ is very much on point here today, and even during the MotoGP and World SBK rounds here, you can always hear it coming through to TV. Guido Pini making sure it's a moment he'll never forget. A little kiss of the trophy for the AC Racing team rider. Casey O'Gorman taking his time coming down from second. Well, that's because they have the picture to come.
Bruce Woodley a la tercera posició, Casey O'Gorman, guanyador i Guido Pini.
And here are your race results then. Guido Pini, your winner. Ahead of Casey O'Gorman, Rush Mudley. Jesus Torres put in a super showing, but just missed out on the podium. Marco Morelli took advantage of that big crash to come up 5th. Guillaume Plonk dropped to 6th. Christian Daniel in 7th, a brilliant result for him. Adriano Donoso, Beñat Fernandez also coming well inside the points, profiting from that big last lap incident. Giulio Pugliese rounds out the top 10. Guido Pini's teammate Emmanuel Brinton, top 11 for him. Al Sahuti, Edu Gutierrez, Panteliakis and Jesus Rios complete the point scoring finishes. Brian Uriarte just misses out on the points after his big moment. Hakim Danish coming in behind him. Van Tricht, Herlicht, Yvonne Serpa, Eduardo Bertola then complete the finishers. Pau Alsina, Dodo Baggio, Max Quiles, Rico Salmela. Was a chance of opportunity for them, but they all got wiped up in that last lap incident. While there were more non-finishers, I should say. Leonardo Zani, Carter Thompson involved with Bujosa, another rider who didn't finish. So this is what it does for the championship. And get the popcorn out. Max Quiles still leads Brian Uriarte by 1 point, but here comes Guido Pini, 9 points off the top. Dodo Baggio still in contention, 29 behind. Rico Salmela didn't pick up any points today. He's 36 off. Fernandez, Jesus Torres, David Gonzalez are 6th, 7th and 8th. Casey O'Gorman moves up to 9th position as Rush Mudley comes into the top 10. Good point scoring finish today for Guillaume Plonk, moves him up a couple of positions. Pugliese, Fernandez, Alsina, Jesus Rios all following in behind. Donoso and Danish in 16th and 17th. Point for Brinton today sees him progress up the championship standings, as does Christian Daniel and Al Sahuti. Marco Morelli's 5th place finish today, picking up 11 points for him. He's 21st. Lorenz Luciano, Leonardo Zani, Edu Ligori and Gonzalo Perez following them, as Gutierrez, Alomar, Perrone, Carter Thompson all sit on 2 and 3 points, as does Panteliakis, while Owen Van Tricht has 1 point to his name in 2023 to date. So drama by the bucket load in Barcelona, but it is celebrations for the AC Racing team, and Guido Pini as the young Italian enters the title conversation.